Welcome back to Open Line, talking with John Harris, Executive Director, Tennessee Firearms Association, talking about gun rights, some of the laws that may be coming up in this legislative session, which will be getting underway shortly. The new leadership has been named. But we have some, let's go back to the phones here. Let's go to James. Hello, James. Go right ahead. Turn down your TV and let us, what's on your mind?
Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I have two quick questions. One was on the if you could repeat the transportation of firearms again, and I have a question about why do veterans have to have permits to carry when they've already been trained in firearms and whatever? I'm gonna let you speak on it.
Okay. For those of you who are interested in that, what I call vehicle transport statute, the rule in Tennessee is that if you legally possess the firearm, and for example, that could be an 18-year-old with a handgun if it was acquired appropriately. You can have that weapon, whether it's a handgun, a rifle, a shotgun, whatever it is, in a privately owned vehicle that you legally possess. And you don't have to have a permit to do that. Now, that's generally only good on public streets, but that's what the law is. And if you want to look it up specifically, it's Tennessee Code Annotated 39-17-1307 subpart E. They expanded it last year now to include boats, so you're good on the lake as well. The issue about the military, retired military, I've seen that debated and discussed over the years several times in the legislature. Most commonly, the excuse that I see them give is that, yeah, the retired soldier may have been trained on a rifle, for example, or a sidearm, a handgun. And if they were trained, they're most likely trained with military rules of engagement or military rules of force. And part of what you get in the handgun training course, matter of fact, most of what you get in the handgun training course in Tennessee is civilian use of deadly force. So when can a civilian use deadly force, and where can you, with a handgun carry permit in Tennessee, carry the weapon? And those two topics aren't covered in the military training, and that seems to be why the state takes the position you got to have their class, even if you're retired military.
All right. Now, we're talking about the upcoming legislative session.
Right.
We talked about permitless carry.
Permitless carry.
Permitless carry. And that's a goal you've had for several years, hadn't passed yet, remains a goal for you. Are there any bills you're concerned about? Are there any bills on the other side that would that you're opposed to that might be catching your attention?
Oh yeah. Well, probably the biggest one is Senator Steve Dickerson from Nashville is proposing that Tennessee pass what's generically referred to as a red flag law. And Senator Rubio from Florida is proposing the same thing at the federal level. And I think the red flag law, you're going to see a tremendous amount of opposition from the gun groups and from civil rights groups on that bill, because what it essentially says is, right now, if you're going to be banned from owning a gun or buying a gun, you know, you got to have a criminal conviction, or you have to have an insanity finding, or you got to have something that has the effect of taking away your civil rights. Well, the Parkland, the young man that was involved in the Parkland shooting, he'd had several run-ins with the police, but he'd never been arrested. You know, he had no convictions. He had nothing on his record that was going to ban him.
He was a mess, wasn't he? He was a total mess.
He was just a mess.
He made all kinds of terrible comments, and he was
part of the problem was the school system's handling of students that had emotional issues was with kid gloves, that we don't want to taint them, we don't want to brandish them, So anyhow, these red flag laws, the concept is we're going to start keeping a database on all of our citizens of how frequently you have contact with public officials, police officers. Maybe they're going to start quantifying your traffic stops that you don't even get a ticket for, or if you call in because your neighbor's playing music too loud, they're going to start cataloging all these contacts. School administrators are going to catalog contacts. that don't rise to criminal level, that don't rise to the level of mental health issues. Just how often do you have run-ins with government officials? And then they want to use that data to either go take guns away, which is happening in Florida now, or to deny people attempting to purchase a new gun from doing so.
I feel like there's a good faith effort out there to try and do something again in the face of this horrible disaster down in Florida, in the face of what happened in Las Vegas. They want it. Let's try and do something. And now the way you've just framed it, of course, sounds not good.
Well, there was a movie out that Tom Cruise was in that was sort of the thought police. So they were going to arrest people who might have the thought or the future probability of committing a crime before they ever committed it, so that society would be saved from that future crime. That's what this is. And to some extent, like Ben Franklin said, if we're going to sacrifice rights, freedoms, and liberties in the belief that we're advancing public or personal safety, then we really are not accomplishing either goal.
All right, we have to take a break. We'll take a break. Be back right after this.